there is a lot of things that we are no longer aware of as people that used to be self-evident. They are just facts that used to be known as common sense. Even within the last few generations, there's people, or there's things, realities, truths that people have lost touch with that used to just be common, ordinary, everyday things that everyone knew. I want to talk today about something that I think has been fading out ever since the creation of man, since the garden, since there was a lie told in that garden. And that is the truth of individuality. The individual has been being diluted from that very beginning, from when that first lie entered in the garden. The lie that you can be like someone else. Obviously, it was very significant to tell man that he could be like his creator. But that same message has permeated throughout all time to this day, that being like someone else is a good thing. It's a habitual thing. Sometimes it's kind of built into it. We all just identify ourselves as, we're in this group. I am one of these people. They are those people. And it takes away the individuality of all of us. It dilutes us. We all know we're individuals, but there's still that, they're in this group, I'm in that group. Whatever it is, there's a dilution. And it was a point of the devil to do. I'm not saying identifying people according to groups is inherently evil. I was saying treating an individual on that basis it can be very evil, because that was his goal. When he said you can be like God, he diminished God, he diluted God, because we never are able to lift ourselves up to that, because we are who we are. We are God's children. And to suggest that the child can be like his creator, like his father, is not what it's about. He wanted to be with us. He wanted us to be with him. He never said, be like me. God never said that. He never did. So there's a scripture here in Proverbs I want to read, and I think that gives some understanding, because I like to apply certain concepts, like the fact that God is love. When I look through that lens, it helps me to understand things. And the fact that he is an individual, and the significance of our individuality is such that always keeping that in mind and never forgetting that can bring understanding to the scriptures. So we have these two verses in Proverbs 26 that seem to contradict. I've seen all kinds of people give all kinds of explanations to try to reconcile this and make sense out of it. And a lot of them have been good. I've heard ones that are very clever, and I'm not even sure. Maybe they even make sense. But I have another insight that I haven't seen before. I want to share it with you that I think will shed some light on this. So Proverbs 26 verses 4 and 5 reads, do not answer a fool according to his folly, lest you also be like him. Verse 5, answer a fool according to his folly, lest he be wise in his own eyes. Now that, to me, that's where the simple answer comes in. The simple answer is that they're individuals. There's different kinds of fools. And back then, it wasn't explained because people were more aware of it. It hadn't been watered down for another 3,000 years or whatever it was since this was written. It had already been watered down to a certain extent, but compared to now, people were still in touch with their individuality so much more than they are now. So they understood that not every fool is the same, and there wasn't the same type of stereotyping you have now. So he wouldn't say treat one fool this way according to his folly, and don't treat the other fool according to his folly, because it was self-evident. Because when you met someone according to their personality, that's how you responded to them, that's how you talked to them. So it was appropriate for one person and not for another. It was assumed and understood because it hadn't been watered down so much to the point where now we have it, where we deal with each other, unfortunately, in those ways. We categorize each other in those ways. And that's one thing, sadly, religion does. There was us, there was the lost people, but then there was the backsliders. And you were given instructions on how to deal with these people as though they were just this big monolithic thing that all thought the same, and you were to deal with them in this certain way, as opposed to doing what the Spirit of God has always done with us and has always wanted to do with us, with other people, not only in our hearts as individuals, but as we go out into the world and meet people, that we will be led of the Spirit to deal with people the way the Spirit leads us to. Not as, oh, this is a sinner, oh, this is a backslider, oh, this is a Jew, this is a this is a that. I mean, I understand it's helpful to have certain information that certain people do have certain tendencies. That's legitimate, but still you're dealing with an individual child of God, formed by God, that is different than any other creature of God ever. And that is something that is very important to be in touch with, to realize that you are talking to someone, whoever you're talking to, who is different than anyone else. Even if in their own mind they want to be just like whatever, they still are an individual. We should treat each other that way and know that it's appropriate to do this with this person and not with that person, but not according to their label, according to the leading of the Spirit. And that's my thoughts about Proverbs 26 verses 4 and 5. Thanks for watching.